And now, Zeb Bell.
You know, all of us need to exercise, and I have an exercise tip for all of our senior friends out there in the audience. And I want to remind you, first and foremost, please do not overdo any exercise until you become more accustomed to the exercise that I'm about ready to present to you. First of all, you get a block of concrete. You place the block on the floor. You walk around it twice, and then sit down and relax and cool off because you have just walked around the block twice. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch, Halloween. Here we go. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America. And then a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Holy cow, it's going to be a fun day. Oh, thank you very much, Kate Smith, and God bless America. Good morning, everybody, on a beautiful Halloween morning. Good morning on this Thursday, October 31st. I'm Zeb Bell at Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big tire sale going on right now, along with some of our great advertisers like, of course, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley. With all this being said, we say good morning to, there was an ugly witch and a beautiful witch in The Wizard of Oz, and we're going to talk to the beautiful witch. Good morning.
If you see me in the morning, you might actually say the other one.
Now, I'm not going to go there because I definitely want you there at the studio.
You don't want the witch to leave? I'm melting!
I'm melting! Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Thank you very much. Are you going to go put a costume on?
Well, I brought my mask today.
Did you?
So I'm going to wear my mask today, and then later on this evening we are going to go trick-or-treating.
Are you really?
Oh, heck yeah.
With Kennedy?
You bet.
I like that. That's nice.
Heck yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
There's quite a few places that are doing trunk-or-treat, and then James is going to come down, and we're going to peruse the neighborhood.
Well, I'm thinking seriously about maybe not getting dressed up, but at least taking my all-favorite mug and going trick-or-treating.
I think that you should.
Okay. I got to do something tonight.
Well, you're going to go... Do you guys actually get trick-or-treaters? I know you guys live on the highway. So
nah, we don't get as many as we used to because they started all those trunk-or-treats, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And it kind of takes away I love to have kids come up and knock on my door. I really do.
Maybe if I can get out early, then I will take Kennedy over to your door.
Well, I would look forward to seeing him. I really would.
All right.
Let's see. This is Halloween. And we're going to have, first of all, who's going to do the pledge?
Well, we've got Mr. Carl Clark on for the pledge and Michael Rogers for the weather.
Carl is scary. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Zeb. Happy All Hallows Eve.
All right. Give us the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Carl. God bless you. Wonderful, wonderful job, and have fun on Halloween.
I'll do the very best I can.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. Hey, it's time for the weather forecast brought to you by the greatest weatherman in the universe, MichaelRogersWeather.com. Good morning.
Good morning. We're going to update everybody politically correct by saying Halloween. I just want to get that out right quick.
I don't have a politically correct program, so say whatever you doggone please.
Okay, Merry Christmas. I'm going to get that out now.
Okay,
so we
good.
can get that done.
Okay.
And that way we can take all the people and they can get mad and do all that other stuff.
All right.
Morning, everybody. Just like yesterday, cool side. You're on the backside of cold side. Look for high today, 59. A lot of sun, very little clouds. It'll continue till tomorrow. Congratulations to the Boston Red Sox. Happy Halloween. Merry Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. We're done. Enjoy the weather. It's the only way that you got.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers, in his neighborhood of weather. There you go, MichaelRogersWeather.com. I think we ought to sell some cattle. Merv, come on in here for a minute.
All right. right, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32, 2.5.
That is the voice of Merv May from the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, Idaho, along with Lance Udy. Merv May, Lance Udy, and the rest of the crew with a big, ripping good sale today at Burley Livestock starting at 10:30. Let's see who's going to be bringing in some of the cattle today. Neil Evans over to Grouse Creek, Utah, semi-load of calves. George McCroskey of Sublet's going to be bringing in a semi-load of calves. Eldon Neal, I know these folks are the nicest people in the world over at Stone, Idaho. They're bringing down 60 head of calves. And Lauren Durfee's bringing 100 head of calves out of that Elmo country. Betsy Whitworth of Bliss. Hello, Betsy. How you doing? 60 head of calves coming into the sale. Richard Miller's bringing in 30 head of calves from that American Falls country. Bill and Josh Reese from Antelope Creek. 40 head of ripping good calves coming out of that country. And Paul Firth out of Paul, he's bringing in 12 head of Holstein heifers. So, sale time's going to be at 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard with Merv May, Lance Udy, and the rest of the crew. For more information, call 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and I selling $1.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
I tell you what, if it's $1.35, that's not hitting bottom like I normally do. Good morning, everybody. Don't forget Rain for Rent at 134 South, 600 West, Highway 27 in Paul. Good people over there. I just really enjoy having them on our program. And they, of course, have the Reinke Pivot sales and service. And, of course, all the great Reinke rebates for this fall. Now, what are you waiting for? Just go to the telephone or stop in at their office and check with Frank Jensen, Skip Hilton, Brooks West. These people really know and can help you with your business of farming and irrigation. Rain for Rent in Paul, 438-5065. You get a hold of them today. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I had to chuckle a little bit about a story in the paper this morning that says, Campaign of Burley Mayor raises $500 more than challenger Smedley. And they went on about the challenger, Merlin Smedley, against Mayor Terry Greenman, and the big election is going to be next Tuesday. And then there was a quote that I thought was a little bit... egotistical, I guess you could say. Burley firefighters Local 3308 didn't back Greenman's first bid in 2009, but the union tossed $100 into his coffers this year. Quote, "It's because I'm such a good mayor," Greenman quipped. Well, hello, Lord. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you, I hope tonight is a good night for these kids. This has been my day of the year for, going on since 1974.
Of giving treats to all the kids?
Yeah.
I miss having all the kids come by the house. I really do. It's something I miss. I miss our kids, dressing up in costumes and going around the neighborhood and everything. But now they've started these trunk or treats, which I understand and I appreciate and respect the idea behind it. But I still miss the kids coming to the house.
Yeah, I do too. But I mean, I've had kids that were little kids in '74 that have gotten out of their grandkids coming here. So
does that make you feel like maybe somebody's putting you on a shelf and they're going to dust you off every now and then?
Yeah, they do. Hey, I got a little saying for you.
Uh-oh, look out.
These signs.
Okay.
Don't lose your head to gain a minute. You need your head, your brains are in it. Remember where that come from?
No.
The good old Burma Shave.
Oh, the Burma Shave commercials.
On the old highway.
I love those old signs. And they, along with, remember Wall Drug in South Dakota?
I ain't been in there for a long time.
I know, but what I'm saying is, Wall Drug back in the Midwest, they would invest in a lot of signs, and they do like the Burma Shave commercials. You go down the road, and all of a sudden you'd see one sign, and then go maybe another mile further, you'd see another sign with the rest of the saying or the slogan. And that was kind of effective advertising. Wall Drug Store in the Dakotas really made a lot of money off of that.
So just remember, people, keep your head, your brains are in it.
Yeah, well, some people have that problem with not knowing that. Thanks, Al. God bless. bless. Have a good day.
Bye.
All right. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, Scott Gano and the rest of the crew at 150 South, 950 West of Paul, 431-8733. We are going to be hitting some cold weather. We're going to be hitting freezing weather before too long, and I'm really going to tell you, like Scott Gano has been mentioning to a lot of people, don't let your sprinklers freeze. Get those lines blown out now. Get on the list, and please call him today. Go, oh, I forgot. Well, I'm telling you, 431-8733. 431-8733. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 150 South, 950 West of Paul. You give him a call right now. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you this fine day?
Not too bad, you old codger. How are you?
I am doing good. You know, Halloween and Christmas, children just lights up and makes the day blossom. And where we live out in the country, we don't get the kids much anymore, and it's kind of a sad day. So
it is. You know, the old style of coming up to the house and knocking on the door, and, you know, occasionally I'd always put on an old grumpy old man's mask, and I'd have the light off on the back porch, and then all of a sudden I'd throw the door open and go, Happy Halloween, and the kids would just break their legs and arms trying to get away from me. But then they'd come back and they'd hand out their bag, and I'd put a whole bunch of candy in there. I love that.
Yeah, that's getting to be a thing of the past, I'm afraid.
You know, there's a lot of things that are things of the past, and unfortunately Halloween and the old trick-or-treat and everything, those are some fond memories, and it's too bad that America's getting away from a lot of their traditions.
It is, you know, and you go in the stores today, they've already got Christmas up, and we haven't celebrated the Halloween.
Yeah, I find that offensive.
Thanksgiving yet.
I find that offensive.
That's bad.
You know, another thing, I just heard a rumor, as a matter of fact, yesterday, I heard that a guy resembling you, and you're going to be coming by trick-or-treating at about 11 o'clock today for some banana bread.
Yeah, you got that right. There's a little gal up there that kind of likes me and makes me goodies.
I can't imagine who.
Also, Zeb, while I'm on the air, I would like to remind everybody that November 11th, Veterans Day, has been set aside for the veterans, past and present. You know, when we hear so much from a lot of veterans say, you know, all we want is thanks. Well, we've got these schools. There's Rupert Elementary, Deckle, St. Nicholas, Oakley schools in our area that puts on programs for veterans.
Mm-hmm.
These kids bust their butts to be the best they can to tell us thank you.
Absolutely.
I'd just like to have the veterans get off their butts and go get that thank you.
Absolutely. And I want to talk to you about that when you get here this afternoon. So, George, God bless, and thank you for the kind words.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. You betcha. We're going to be doing some special programming for Veterans Day on November 11th, and I rely heavily on George Mass for all of his help. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Have you got a pellet stove? Well, you need wood pellets, don't you, to keep warm? Well, all the wood pellets are right there at Valley Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert, and toys are coming in for Christmas already, and they've got the Smart Lick tubs and the Cattle Lick blocks. They've got everything over there that you need for those cattle to maintain during these cold winter days ahead, and also a good selection, great selection of dog and kitty cat food, so you better make sure you get it all. Get it all at Valley Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. You stop in and see them today. And real quick, I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. We are, as a matter of fact, this is the last day for Hats Off to Farmers. Yes, sirree, Bobby, hats off to farmers. And the popcorn and the pop soon will be gone, and the service, the great service of Ramsey Heating and Electric always remains. And don't forget, too, you better change your air filters in your furnace, because you get up in the morning with your cold toesies on the floor and you want heat. Well, your furnace can't be doing everything for you if you don't give it a brand new filter, so make sure you check out your furnace filters at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459, open at 7:30 in the morning, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. You know, I watched as much as I could. I had a lot of other things to take care of, and I had a meeting to go to yesterday afternoon that I had to sit through 4 of the most boring hours of my life. You know, when you go to a meeting and you get to be my age, I don't know why it is, but my head keeps wanting to pound my chin into my chest and go to sleep. But I had to fight, struggle, strain, and just absolutely muscle myself to keep awake at that meeting. But when I got out, I did a little bit more research on the Kathleen Sebelius interview of questions from Congress yesterday, and I think 3 words kind of sum up her attitude and also the attitude of the entire interrogation. Frustrating, partisan, and arrogant. I think those 3 words sum up what I saw with the interrogation of Kathleen Sebelius. Frustrating, partisan, and arrogant. And there's a lot of other words I could use, but not on the radio. She's a very, very cold, calculating woman. Very cold and very calculating. And all I can say is, here we go again. Here we go again. The numbers and the questions that were asked about the numbers, not answered. Now, I am not a computer whiz. As a matter of fact, I'm doggone lucky that I can get this program on the air in the morning and turn the computers on and the cameras on and little simple stuff. But I do know from a lot of people that are computer experts, there's no way in the world that that question cannot or should not be answered by Kathleen Sebelius as to how many people have enrolled so far in Obamacare. It's a simple question. And from everybody I've talked to, it derives and should have a very simple answer. But this garbage of, well, now we're going to have to wait till next month before we can come up with the final numbers and the counts. No, you don't have to wait. I know that there's gazillion people out in the audience right now this morning listening that know far, far more about computers than I ever will or ever want to know. And they're sitting there probably saying, why is there such a discrepancy between telling the truth and really what's going on? They got the numbers. They know how many are enrolled or how many have made attempts to enroll. I just don't think, from some of the computer people that I've talked to yesterday, at this meeting as a matter of fact, I just don't think that they're going to roll this baby down the alley by the end of November and have it working smoothly yet. We're going to take that call in just a minute. Caller, don't go away. I'll be right with you, I promise. I just want to remind everybody real fast about Middlecoff Ford Lincoln Body Shop. I have been giving my own personal testimonial about what a great job they do, and they do. That pickup of mine went through a real severe fire, and they got everything back that you can't tell. It's totally undetectable. They really did a nice job. Absolutely the best. And if you have an accident or a fender bender or you need something straightened out, I'll tell you what, these guys are good. Middlecoff Ford Lincoln Body Shop. Number to call, 736-2490. 1243 Blue Lakes Boulevard in Twin Falls. Over 50 years of accumulated collision experience serving you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
The one thing I have a problem with is during that interview she said several times that she can't take Obamacare. It's against the law. It's against the law that she's not taking it.
Yeah.
It's against the Constitution that she's not taking it.
Well,
they're talking out of one side and out of the other.
Yeah, you picked up on it, Kilt Man, as did some of the reporters at some of the major news outlets. She absolutely... You know what I found out by listening to this woman? Maybe you don't agree with this, but I found a woman that is extremely insecure. I found a woman that is unknowledgeable about the total product of Obamacare. And I found a woman that is absolutely just being told what to say. Do you agree with these statements or not?
Well, I agree. And the problem is that I noticed was there's a lot of similarities between her and our esteemed leader that, don't buck her or she gets frustrated or mad.
Yeah.
Same thing with Obama. Same thing. If you confront him, what does he do? You can see it in his eyes, in his demeanor. Same thing with her.
Well, I agree with you on Sebelius and Obama being a lot alike, and I'll throw another person into the fray that I think is of the same personality and same nature, and that's Eric Holder, the Department of Justice.
Oh, agreed. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's like, I am the supreme ruler, you will do what I say, and don't try to tell me otherwise, we're going to do something to you.
But you take Kathleen Sebelius, and I haven't got a lot of time here, but I want to get your response. What business have you been in all your life, your adult life?
Construction.
All right, you know construction. You know construction. You know what to do. You know how to build things. You know what has to be done. You know what materials need to be had. You know what kind of tools have to be used. And if somebody sat down and asked you a bunch of questions, you could give rapid-fire answers because you know your business, right?
Right.
She is supposed to be the head of HHS. And did you find, like I did, that she was grasping and groping and trying to figure out? They asked her a question as to who was the head of one department, and she couldn't come up with a name.
Well, and the thing is, what the funny thing is did you see all the people behind her telling her what to say and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, how to answer this? It's like, you know, do you know anything? I mean, it should have been her alone.
I was
all these people to back her up.
No, I agree. I just, and I know I'm being partisan against her because I don't like her. I don't like this administration, and I certainly do not like Obamacare. And I know that's very prejudicial against her, but I saw a woman that had a deer-in-the-headlights look a lot of times on questions because she was absolutely uncomfortable because she was out of her knowledge zone. And this person that testifies on behalf of Obamacare that was supposed to be in charge of the implementation, that person should know everything about Obamacare.
That's exactly right. She should know every in and out, you know, T that need to be crossed, dot that need to be put in. I mean, it's one of those things that if you're in on top of this thing for this long, and she had a week or so to prepare for it once they called her up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, so she came in, you could tell by the way she walked, you could tell by the way she looked, stuff like that she was very uncomfortable just walking in the door.
Yeah.
She knew she wasn't ready.
Well, you know, look at the same situation, though, Kilt Man, with the IRS people. The same scenario. These people came in there, and it was kind of this bravado, this I'm holier than you attitude. And when questions, very poignant questions, were asked, it was always, well, I'll have to defer on that and go back and get the information and come back later. These are the people that are supposed to be in the know. They're not the grunts.
Well, if I understand it right, one senator or congressman or whatever, point blank came out and asked her, if you could get Obamacare, would you?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do that because it's against the law. 4 times. He pointed, this is a yes or no question. Would you take it? And she wouldn't give him a yes or no answer.
Yeah, I know. I was just shocked on some of the absolutely frustrating, and that's why I put the 3 words together. I got to run. I'm late. I got to get Jim McCall on. But 3 words summed it up for me, if you agree with me or not. Frustrating, partisan, and very arrogant.
Agreed.
All right.
Agreed. Underline arrogant.
God bless you, Kilt Man. Have a good day.
You too, buddy.
Thank you. Hey, right now we're going to talk to my old buddy, Mr. Bubba Rope himself. Hello, Jim McCall. How are you?
I need to call him.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I'll do something else while you need to call him. Let's see, what can I talk about real quick? Oh, I know what I'll talk about real quick. Save on Shells. That's what I'll do. Save on Shells, 1827 Overland Avenue in Burley. Why put things in the back of your pickup truck and then go down and park in a mall or park in a shopping center or go downtown and let everybody in the world know what you got in the back there, whether it's tools, whether it's tack equipment for your horse or whatever. Don't leave your valuables in the back of a pickup that everybody can see. Check on the Save on Shells. They got brand new line of shells from ARE, many different models, and they got a great selection of used camper shells too for your pickup. And I'm telling you, you're going to be so glad that you listened and went over and talked to these folks. Save on Shells at 1827 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 312-1525. Save money. Get the best. I did at Save on Shells. Now let's see if Gina has Mr. Jim McCall on the phone. Jim, are you there, sir?
Good morning, Zeb.
My goodness sakes, Mr. Bubba Rope is ready to rock and roll this morning. How's everything over at the Bubba Rope headquarters of Magic Valley?
Oh, we're just plugging away. And you?
I'm doing great, but I got to ask you the burning question. Here it is, the end of October. Did you get your pink Bubba Ropes in?
They're supposed to be delivered today if the computer ain't lying to us.
Have you ever known a computer in your life that would be truthful?
Well,
You know, we got this little problem in the government right now with computers, so, you know.
You answered my question. Hey, what else is going on over at Travel Loop Supply? Hit us with some great, big, wonderful items.
That we're closing out our Olympia tool line. If you need some good hand tools, they're, U.S. made. We've got some stuff in. Give Heather a call and see if we've got what you're needing. Get the antifreeze checked and stuff. This weather's changing. Here we are, 1st of November already, and
yep.
Get the antifreeze checked. Good time to get the oil changed in the rigs for the winter, and
absolutely
get them winter ready.
You got them all over there. And by the way, quickly tell everybody you can clean their air filters and save them a bunch of money too, can't you?
You bet we can. Send your dirty air filters over here. Give us a call. We can come pick them up. First one's free if you haven't been one of our customers before, so you can see just exactly how they're treated and the way they come back to you. Save you some money.
All right, now I'll tell you what, this is earth-shattering news, but if that shipment of pink Bubba ropes comes in today, I don't care when I'm on this morning, you call me and give us an earth-shattering news release. Tell us all of a sudden, Zeb, they're here.
You got it.
All right, Jim.
All
right, buddy. Travel Loop Supply, 1050 West 203 South Hayburn with my buddy Jim McCall, 438-8730. Thanks, Jim. Talk to you next week.
Thanks. We'll see you.
All right, buddy. Hey, don't forget, it's time. I'm running late. Capital Press Ag Minute brought to you by Pacific Steel and Recycling, 320 West Main in Burley, 678-2321. Here now, the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
Historically tight cattle supplies drove cash fed cattle prices to a record high last week. Fed cattle headed for slaughter averaged $132.30 per hundredweight. That broke the old record high of $128.92 on a live weight basis set in March of 2012. Boxed beef is also at lofty levels, with a choice cut out last week averaging slightly more than $200 per hundredweight. The high prices related to the size of the U.S. cattle herd, which is at its smallest level since 1962. With cattle and beef supplies continuing to tighten, high cattle and beef prices aren't going away anytime soon, economists say. With the Capital Press Ag Minute, this is Hannah Brous.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and capitalpress.com.
And don't forget, for all your recycling needs, Pacific Steel and Recycling at 320 West Main in Burley, 678-2321. Hey, take the kids, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, 4-H groups, take them over there and schedule a free tour of Pacific Steel and Recycling and learn all about recycling and the job they do, okay? Pacific Steel and Recycling at 320 West Main in Burley, 678-2321. Calls are welcome and appreciated at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Yesterday, I heard the I word on 2 different major networks. I mean, it's starting to creep out of the box and slide underneath the doors and come out into the public. The I word. What is the I word? Surprisingly, on 2 networks yesterday, I heard 2 different reporters say that with the stories and possibly the lies and the innuendos that if Obama is a perpetrator of those lies, impeachment. That has been mentioned now yesterday on 2 different networks. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I'd like to go back to the war on Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
It starts in the White House. Now, in September 2012 at the United Nations, and this is a quote, Barack Obama said, "The future must not belong to those who slander the Prophet of Islam." Now, again in Turkey, a couple of years ago, he said that the U.S., we do not consider ourselves a Christian nation.
Yeah.
You know, if people want to find out more about his connection with the Muslim Brotherhood, just on the computer, bring up Obama family ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. Very interesting.
Tony,
this is enough for impeachment itself.
I got a question for you. You've been around the horn once or twice, and you have a little bit of age and wisdom that you can share and impart to all of us. But now, I don't recall in my lifetime of presidents and presidency administrations anyone that has been caught as many times saying something that's not legitimate as he has. Now, I've watched the tapes. I've got some of them here on my personal computer that we've saved, with Obama saying, if you like your insurance company, you can keep it, plain and simple. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor, plain and simple. And that's a definitive, very yes or no statement that he made. Now they're trying to walk it back, and they're saying, well, there was other logistics and other parts of the speech that should have been played there, etc. No. He said this many times on numerous occasions. Now what you're talking about with his view on Islam, all of this has been recorded, and it seems like the White House and Obama can't remember the statements they've made and what's going to come back to haunt them. I don't know if it's being blatantly dumb or if it's some kind of a very shrewd plan. I don't know.
Well, what's going on now, for instance, is terrorist camps. The FBI cannot touch them.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of cases, they're a religious institution. And they've got the same rights as a lot of our Christian institutions. And even though they know that these people are preparing for an attack inside the United States after Barack Obama has completed the destruction of the United States internally.
Tony, I just had some information sent to me this week that will curl your hair. Do you know who Brigitte Gabriel is? You've seen her on Fox News, and she's been on my program on numerous occasions. And she is really staunchly against Islam and the Muslims in our government, etc. And she sent me a map showing where all these different terrorist groups are studying and learning how to basically overthrow the United States. And I'm going to try to have her on the air this next week to discuss this, because it's even more worrisome than what we had with Martin Moyer on his book called Twilight in America.
Well, the United States is a wagon train, and these Muslim training camps are the enemy that's surrounding the wagon train.
I agree with you, Tony, and I appreciate your insight on this. Have a good day, and say hello to Mary for me.
I certainly will. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye. Appreciate it. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric can save you money. At Ramsey's, they provide warm winters and cool summers. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Just a quick note, Boston Red Sox won the World Series last night. I know. You think if I say this, I'm bragging or patting myself on the back, and in some ways I guess I am. I did say that the Red Sox would win in 6 games. They did win in 6 games. It's the first time in 95 years that the Boston Red Sox have won the World Series at home. First time in 95 years. And my old buddy Dave Wright in Twin Falls, Kimberly area, he is just bouncing off the walls happy. Whenever he gets a chance, he tries to fly back to Boston and go to the Fenway Park and sit by the Green Monster. And he is one happy camper this morning. Boston Red Sox are the World Series champions. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, we have a Newsmax NBC Wall Street Journal poll. Now, this poll was taken on behalf of Democratic pollster Peter Hart and pollster Bill McInturf. Obama's approval rating are at an all-time low, down to 42%. I told you that before the end of November, Obama would be in the 30s, and I'm going to maintain that he will be at 39 or less % approval rating before the end of November. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
when my son lived in Manhattan, he lived across the street from Kathleen Sebelius. And all of the neighbors, it was very appropriate you're talking about her on Halloween, because she wasn't a witch, she was one of the other things.
Oh, really? I wonder what that is.
None of the neighbors really liked her, and they wondered how she ever became governor of Kansas.
What were the thoughts about Kathleen Sebelius? I mean, was this kind of a walk down the aisle, just being a Democrat and being a follower of Obama? I mean, really, how do you think she got this appointment?
Well, when I was growing up, I didn't know there was a Democratic Party. All I ever knew was damn Democrats.
Uh-huh.
And she fits the line, goes right down the line. She's a weasel.
Have you,
describe her,
in honest appreciation of in fairness to her, and the interview yesterday with all the questions, etc., did you watch any of the questioning?
Just a little bit.
All right. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Kiltman a little earlier. I summed up the interrogation in 3 words: frustrating, very partisan, and very arrogant. Would you agree with those words?
Arrogant, dishonest, and evasive.
I think those are good words, too, especially that word evasive. But I'll go back on the word evasive, and I'll throw this at you, like I did with Kiltman. Here's the woman that is supposed to be in charge, and she should be the Encyclopedia Britannica of everything and anything to do with Obamacare. And did you notice how she didn't know so doggone much?
It's like Kiltman said. People sitting behind her and telling her what to say.
Absolutely.
Exactly like the one in the White House.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
He makes a statement, and then he sends his press secretary and everybody else out to say, well, I didn't say it. You took me out of context.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, Doc. It's good to hear from you, and stay warm, buddy.
Have fun. God bless.
All right, thank you. 4 Paws Bed and Bath for your dogs and kitty cats. Kathy Krause and the rest of the crew. What's going on Thursdays? Let's see. On Thursday, it's this and that Thursday. Collars, leashes, bowls, beds, all the miscellaneous items are 15 to 25% off. And don't forget this, too. Your dogs are probably de-shedding and everything, and your cats have got hairballs all over the floor and everything. Take them in and get them groomed. Get them groomed. Yeah, with a freshly clean pet. Oh, it's loverly. I still want to get over there and watch when they bathe and groom those cats. Wow! Out of the tub they come. Anyway, 4 Paws Bed and Bath. Take your dog and kitty cats over there. They got all the food, all the toys, everything at 4 Paws Bed and Bath. 370 West, 200 South of Rupert, 438-4444. Let's have a quick Michael Rogers weather update, and then we will be back with more of your phone calls. Here's Michael.
What do we got? Okay, here we go. Count it down to 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Sunny clouds today and tomorrow. Still on the cool side. 57 for the high today, 59 for the high tomorrow. Warming up 63 by Saturday, which means that we're getting away from the back end of this cold front and look for a pretty nice weekend. Over that, those will be in the mid to upper 30s. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Don't know whether you got.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. MichaelRogersWeather.com. I was doing some work this morning about Obamacare and studying, and my lovely bride, Deanne, in a couple of weeks we're going to be celebrating our 42nd wedding anniversary. And she pulled off a bunch of stories that I wanted to check on as far as Obama and the White House exerting massive pressure, listen to this, on insurance companies to keep their mouths shut and not say anything about Obamacare or their policies. I'm going to take this call and we'll tell you more about this. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, Doug.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to get your opinion. I seen something on the news last night that was really disturbing to me. Out of the Boise area, there is a lobby group that went back to Washington, D.C. for the last couple weeks and was going back there to lobby for amnesty for the people that are here illegally in Idaho on the basis that they feel like they're living in the shadows and they would really like to come out and help the economy.
Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, keep going. I'm listening. Go ahead.
How are they going to help the economy by becoming citizens and making more jobs? I mean, I don't understand where he was coming from. It seems like Idaho would be the last place you would have a lobby group going back looking for amnesty.
Well, I'll tell you what's happening here, sir. They're using every ploy. They're using every excuse. They're using every trump card they can find right now to support Obama and immigration reform. And here's the bottom line, and I'll stand up against anybody that argues with me on this. The bottom line is the Democrats are in a full court press right now to basically buy votes for November 2014. And they honestly feel that if they can go ahead and move the 11 to 12 million illegal aliens to the front of the line with an amnesty program, they're literally going to push the election to sway maybe the House numbers and definitely more Senate numbers in their favor. I look at this as nothing more than a tool, a absolutely huge hammer over our heads that they're using the illegal aliens and immigration reform to literally buy votes for 2014.
I agree 100%.
Thank you for your call and have a great day.
You too, thank you.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, I'm sure other administrations have put massive pressure. I'm using the words that were in the Daily Caller in a story written by Katie McHugh on other entities for various things they wanted to try to get through in their administration. But this spooks me a little bit that the White House is exerting massive pressure on insurance companies to keep quiet. Don't say anything. And then the story says the administration made clarifications to the 2010 Affordable Care Act after it was passed that have already wiped out hundreds of thousands of existing health plans. And they're warning the insurance companies not to say anything to the press, not to do anything or say anything that would embarrass or lessen the value of Obamacare. What kind of pressure do they have on the companies? What kind of a hold do they have over their heads that says, don't you dare say anything? I wonder what the reasons are. But the headline of this story says, White House exerting massive pressure on insurance companies to keep quiet. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Here's something else that's a little bit disconcerting to me this morning. And I just heard a little excerpt of this, and maybe some of you others have followed this morning, more so than I have. There was a headline that came across this morning at about 4:20, and it was regarding the State Department and the Justice Departments said yesterday that they will block any attempt to have government witnesses speak before Congress about Benghazi. And I'm sitting there and I read that and I thought, what? The State Department and the Justice Department said they will block any government witnesses from testifying on Benghazi. And then they said because, here's their reason, it might damage ongoing investigations. That's nothing more than stinking. It stinks like a skunk in the middle of the road. They're stopping government witnesses from testifying on Benghazi and letting the truth come out because it might damage ongoing investigations. They haven't caught anybody. They haven't done anything. And Obama's statement of, I'm going to bring these people to justice, we've heard that so many times it's old hat. And what in the world would it do to damage ongoing investigations? I don't like this administration, you know that. And again, I'm prejudiced against them. I don't like any one of them because I don't trust them. But I think they're just adding more fuel to the fire with people like me that are questioning why they're so clandestine, why they're so secretive, why they are so under the table. Telling insurance companies to keep their mouths shut. Telling people, government witnesses from Benghazi, you better not testify or else. I mean, all of this stinks. It stinks. And that's not the United States of America and the government that I remember growing up. You know, something else too, the NSA and spying on you and I Oh, by the way, I better make sure that they can hear me. I'm sure they have us on tape this morning. Hello, test 1 2. Test 1 2 3 4 at NSA. Can you hear me all right, or should I have Gina turn the sound up? Oh, it's okay? Okay, fine. They've even spied on the Pope. It came out this morning that they've got tape recordings of the Pope. I'm not kidding and making this up. You can check it out. Read, study what's going on. I mean, for heaven's sakes, they've spied on the Pope. They've spied on everybody else. They spied on all the world leaders. Why? Are they completely out of hand? Or are they just trying to help us? Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, I never will forget, the other day, that's been about a week ago, a lady called me and she says, oh, you just get too worried about everything. Lady, listen to what's going on. Our freedoms, our Constitution, our value systems, everything going down the drain. Of course I'm getting too worried and upset about everything. This isn't communist Russia. This isn't East Germany. This is the United States of America. Hey, great big tire sale. I believe this is the last day of the big tire sale. You'd better get into your Magic Valley Les Schwab tire centers and check on the big tire sale. All the tires on sale. All the tires you need for safe driving are on sale, with all the different tread designs for your cars, pick-em-up trucks, and, of course, your SUVs. And along with that, they've got many, many custom wheels on sale, and I'll tell you, the very best in brake service. Absolutely the best in brake service. And the best in shocks and struts, front-end alignments, and batteries. It's all there. It's all there for your safe driving this winter at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Lane and Rupert, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I don't know. I've got plenty to worry about. But here's another story. This story also stinks a little bit. The disputed American Indian activist by the name of Ray Halbritter, you know who he is. He's the guy that all of a sudden became incensed about the Washington Redskins name, their logo, etc., and is trying to change it and is causing nothing more than a lot of problems for Daniel Snyder and the Washington Redskins football team. They're finding out this guy's not so squeaky clean either, and there's a whole bunch of skeletons in his closet, and they're not hung there for Halloween. I'll tell you more in a minute. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I'd like to talk to the people of Burley just a minute. Those of you who wish to pay for a new airport, except for the runway, vote for those three candidates that are really for it. They don't tell you that you're going to have new wells and new sanitary facilities and new hangars and all that goes with it, new lights, what have you. I don't want to pay for that, especially in another county. If it's not going to be right next to Burley, it don't belong to Burley, then we shouldn't have to pay for it.
You know something, Carl? I would just ascertain from the tone of your voice and the choice of language that you used this morning that, by golly, perhaps you're not in favor of that new airport idea.
I'm not, and especially if it's going over in Paul, that's Minidoka County, and we're not going to have any help. Nobody in Minidoka County is going to help us, and nobody else in Cache County is going to help us. So we're going to have to pay for it by ourselves. I'm against it.
Are you intimating that perhaps you don't want the cost and the burden just put upon the Burley folks that live and reside in the town of Burley?
That's exactly what I'm saying, Zeb.
Well, I can't imagine that you'd be against such a progressive idea to have it in another county, but yet you pay for it. Carl, I'm ashamed of you.
Well, I know. That's the way I am.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll raise that flag and say, it's never come to the county or the city if they even want a new airport.
Oh,
it's never been voted on. It's all been brought up by the city manager and the mayor and one of the councilmen, and I just don't think that's right.
Don't you think, and I'm saying this with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, don't you think that next Tuesday would be a very good way to exercise your rebellion against the airport when you go to the polls and vote for the mayor?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh,
and,
I see.
I did call Smedley, and he says that he is not for the airport right now. At a later time, if it's needed, then we can start discussing it. But as far as he's concerned, it's off the table.
Well, then I would suggest, due to the fact that I'm almost out of time this hour, I would suggest that you tell everybody to please remember to go vote next Tuesday, November 5th, and keep those thoughts fresh in their minds.
I would love to do that. Citizens of Burley, please go vote next Tuesday. There's 12 hours that you've got to vote, and you can do it.
Okay.
It might be a little after work, and you might be wanting to go home and have a beer, but go vote and then go home and have a beer.
All right, Carl. God bless you, man. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next Tuesday is voting day, November 5th. Got to run for about 6 minutes, and then we're going to come back. We got a whole bunch of goodies for this next half hour. Don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch, have a good day. Happy Halloween.
And let businesses know that they're out there looking for work and hopefully take advantage of opportunities that the companies have and fill their positions.
Okay, so basically it's kind of just a great way to meet and greet and find potential not only workers but also interview some mighty fine businesses for the potential in the future too.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we have several businesses that are going to be participating, and these businesses are actually looking to hire persons. Some of these businesses include McCain Foods, High Desert Milk, Double L Manufacturing, Christiansen Implement, Intermountain Healthcare, ConAgra Foods from Twin Falls, and several of the local staffing agencies.
What do you suggest to people? You know, I got to say this, Chet, and you might not agree with me, but it's my program. I think today people are a little bit lazy and a little bit blasé of putting their best foot forward when they go for a job interview. I know that when I've had job applicants come by my office for a job as a salesman, they'll come in actually looking like they're going to go to some beach party. I think people need to put their best foot forward. Do you agree or disagree?
You know, we've had several comments from different businesses of that happening, that does happen. But what we'd like to really encourage people to do is to put your best foot forward. Put on your Sunday best. You know, and it's said that some people think you should just dress for the interview, dress according to the job you're applying for. I disagree. You need to put on your shirt and tie, polish your shoes, put on a nice dress or a nice blouse, look nice, look sharp, show up presentable. And if you're worried about being overdressed, throw a change of clothes in the back seat of your car. And after the interview or during the interview, then you let that business know, you know, I've got a change of clothes in my car. Give me 5 minutes. I'll be changed and ready to go.
You know, I like what you just said, and I wish more people would come forward with that. I honestly believe we've got to become too much of a relaxed society. I'm not in favor of having the kind of frunchy Thursday and Friday and all that kind of stuff where they say, well, it's Friday, you can just kind of let go and everything. I'm not in favor of that. I think you've got a certain responsibility to your clientele, regardless of the business, to make sure that you maintain a professional image.
You're exactly right. And you know, another thing that we're finding is the trends, common trends are businesses are requesting applications and resumes over the internet. So it's hard to meet with people one-on-one, and it's pretty simple to sit down in your own home in the comforts of your home, fill out an online application in your pajamas. And then you kind of tend to forget about how you're supposed to dress and how you're supposed to look for an interview. This job fair is important because it gives you an opportunity to dress up, look nice, come in, meet one-on-one, put your best foot forward and kind of shine. And we find that even if you're applying for a job online at home, if you put on your shirt and tie or your dress, you look sharp at home filling out that application, you're going to have more self-confidence and you're going to feel better about yourself while you're filling it out.
You know, now, what you just said, though, Chet, is 100% true. You know, you feel like you're dressed.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, attitude and personality. Boy, when you're dressed to the nines, you have a kind of a better feeling about yourself. You promote a better image. You, I think, honestly speak in a better tone with better verbiage, etc. I think it just sets the whole tone. So tell us again where this is going to be and when.
This is going to be held at our Idaho Department of Labor office in Burley. We are located at 127 West, 5th North in Burley. Our telephone number, if you have further questions, you can reach me at 678-5518, extension 3109. Now, this job fair will be held Tuesday, November 5th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay, anything else you want to throw at us this morning? You got the microphone. Go ahead.
We would love to have all the public come out and attend this job fair, support our businesses, support our local economy. And if you're a business owner and you're interested in participating in the job fair, we still have space available. Give me a call. Let me know. We'd sign you up, and we'd be happy to have you here.
You did a darn good job. Chet, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You bet, buddy. Thank you so much. Now, I'm really one of those proponents of, oh, my goodness, I know that when I was looking for a job as some salesman for my company a couple of years ago, you wouldn't believe how some of the people come dressed or undressed. I mean, it's terrible. And it's like they have no pride in themselves and or no pride in my company. They didn't get the job. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm going to take some time here and go over some public service announcements that have been given to me, and one in particular that I'm going to stumble a little bit with because I don't know all the parameters. A very good friend of mine, Kirk Webb, was injured severely in an accident a couple of weeks ago. And there's going to be a benefit team roping, and I believe this is going to be at CSI. And I'm going to tell you that the benefit is for Kirk Webb, local cattleman, and was injured in an accident on October 1st of this year, and they're going to have a tri-tip and pork dinner starting at 5 o'clock on the 16th of November, and dinner donations will be accepted at the door. Now, I'm assuming this is at CSI. Whoever wrote this did not in its entirety give us the location or anything, but I know they're going to have the benefit team roping at CSI, and I believe they're all going to be at the Expo Center. If I find out differently, I will let you know. They will be having a benefit team roping on the 15th of November and the 16th of November, Friday and Saturday, and again, the benefit is for Kirk Webb and to help defray all the medical expenses, and I'll give you as much information as I get it in the future. Caller, real fast. Good morning. What can I do for you?
Hi, I just wanted to tell you, yesterday I told my husband that the insurance companies are in on this. Now, I don't know how come, but they have the most money in the whole United States, and I don't know, maybe he's giving them a tax break. I don't know what he's doing to them, but I know that they're in on it. I know that they are, and that's all I wanted to say.
No, but hold on. Don't hang up on me because I'll quickly give you a statement back to you. I think you might have something there because I think that there is a kind of an under-the-table push to go to a single-payer type insurance program, very socialistic, communistic, if you want to call it that in this country. And I think that this is the devil's in disguise right now, and we're going to find out who the bad guys are in a not-too-short order. You might have something there, and I might agree with you, okay?
She left.
She left.
She left.
But the other she is here.
Yes.
That's you.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, you're into motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Veterans Helping Veterans are going to have their second annual dinner and raffle this coming Saturday, pardon me.
Yep.
It's going to be November 2nd at the Senior Citizen Center, 530 Shoshone Street West in Twin Falls, and they're going to have 2 to 5 p.m. the dinner, and the raffle's going to be at about 3 p.m., and this is all helping veterans, and God bless them all. I say thank you. Combat Vets Association, Veterans Helping Veterans, and I hope it's a huge success.
Me too.
All right. And again, I want to reiterate that when I find out more information, more complete, concise information on that Kirk Webb benefit roping and dinner, I will pass that along to everybody, okay? I know there's a lot of people in this area that know the Webb family and want to be of assistance. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm going to pay some bills and be right back with your call. on Halloween. I'm going to talk to Jeannie about Halloween in just a minute. Hey, Burley Glass, 1029 Oberlin and Burley. Don't forget our dear friend, Gentle Ben at Burley Glass. Oh, with the atrium windows, they can help increase the energy efficiency of your home 2 to 3 times. Keep the heat in, not out. Don't help warm the birds in the trees. Keep it for yourself. Don't forget to call them, Burley Glass, 678-1459. Working hard to provide great service to all the communities in Magic Valley. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Brother Bell.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
Yeah. You know, there was an article posted in the Times News here 2 or 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see it. I'm getting this information from a friend of mine. But he said Idaho has some of the highest gas prices in the United States.
That's true. I had that article on my program 2 days ago.
Oh, did you?
Yes, Idaho has the highest gas prices of any of the United States in the bottom 48 contiguous states. Why?
Well, because according to that article, they are making 30 cents a gallon after the taxes and everything.
Yep, I know. I read that.
That don't mean, you know, because you're in business, you have expenses just like I do. That doesn't mean they're making 30 cents a gallon. But this old adage of we're only making 2 cents a gallon, this does not add up.
Well, it's not cutting the cake, and quite frankly, when I read this and I got to thinking about it, I travel a lot. I travel more than most people. And when you read something that Idaho is the highest priced state in the United States for gasoline and fuel products, diesel, etc., of the 48 contiguous states, I'm not talking about Alaska, and I'm not talking about Hawaii, I'm talking about the 48 contiguous states, that tells me that something's out of whack, Keith.
Yeah, you know, in Tuesday I was in Reno, Nevada, and on the way back home at Friendly, Nevada, which is just 30 miles west or east of Reno.
Yeah.
2 places, Pilot and Love's, right across the freeway from each other. $3.71 a gallon.
Wow.
For diesel.
Wow. And
we just, you know, you had somebody on just a little bit ago that were talking, you know, from the chamber, and, you know, they're going to put on job fair and everything. How do we attract people when we have a reputation like that?
Yeah, I know it. And when you look at, like, just to round it off in round figures, the difference from, like, Fernley to fill up with diesel at that filling station versus up here, you're talking almost about $15 a tank difference. And quite frankly, $15 could be used for something else. Maybe it might buy a meal at some local eatery. Maybe it might buy some kind of tool or whatever. But we're wasting money when other people are seeing it go around their economy on a local basis much more than what we are.
Let's just say you have an average car with a 20-gallon tank, and you're about out of gas. And you pull into the station, you put 20 gallons in. You just put $6 a gallon in their pocket.
Yeah.
That don't mean they don't have overhead and everything to cover, but that's quite a little bit.
I agree. Keith, I got more calls waiting. God bless you, and have a happy Halloween. See you later, my friend. Thank you.
Trick-or-treating.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir. Caller, I'll be right with you. Don't go away. Don't forget our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Life insurance. I just dropped my earpiece. There, we're back. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this from our friends that really know security with insurance, and that's Dean, Cameron, Todd, Siemens. Yep, they are devoted to serving you and will help you and your future. You better believe it. Give them a call, 436-4424. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, serving you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I have a question for you, but before I ask the question, I want to say happy Halloween, and I hope you have the best Thanksgiving ever and the merriest Christmas that will ever be.
Thank you. What can I do for you, Jerry? I appreciate that.
My question is, you know, when President Bush was president of the country, every day we seen the death count of how many soldiers died in the news over and over and over and over and over. Not one time since Obama has been in, have I seen that death count? And I know the death count is higher by far than when Bush was in there. Why is not the media reporting these things?
You know, Jerry, you bring up a really interesting question, but I think you already know the answer. The news media has, and still is sheltering Obama from as much criticism as possible. But the chink in the armor is starting to create rust spots, and I've noticed that many networks are starting to really have some questions about not only Obamacare, but the way this administration is being run. And I think a bright spot to think about is that when you see people like CNN, you see people at CBS, you see people at ABC start to really question, and the one that really astounded me is NBC came out with some real questions about Obama. The line of leaving him alone is not like it used to be.
You know, I'm 70-some years old, and I've lived through a lot of presidents. We've never had a president that outright lied to the people the way this one does. And to be treated like a saint, I cannot understand it.
Well, I agree with you. Jerry, as always, I appreciate your remarks. Thank you so much for calling this morning. Thank you.
You have a wonderful day, and may the Lord bless.
No, he has. Thank you. I thought I heard the cow moo. Is there another caller, Gina, or are you going to tell me on Halloween I'm hearing something?
Nope, there's another call.
Caller, good morning. You're on the air. They're backing up, Gina. Don't let them go to that cliff. Ladies, stop them. Do something. She's gone.
She's gone.
Okay. Hey, don't forget Perkins Restaurant and Bakery at 800 North Overland in Burley. Oh, they've got a tagline over there that says, where we believe in being best buds with your taste buds. I'll tell you what, I am just so absolutely happy that we moved our lunch bunch over to Perkins Restaurant and Bakery. It's been outstanding. I mean, their bakery over there with the pies and the cookies and the muffins. Oh, wow. It's delicious. Looking forward to the next lunch bunch, and you can look forward to breakfast, lunch, and or dinner right there at Perkins Restaurant and Bakery, 800 North Overland in Burley. And you stop in, tell them Zeb sent you to Perkins Restaurant and Bakery on North Overland in Burley. Caller, good morning. Are you back?
No.
No, not back. Okay. Well, then who let these doggone dogs out anyway?
Let the dogs out! Who let the dogs out?
Oh, my goodness, we got Dachshunds, and we got Rottweilers, and we got English Sheephounds, and we've got everything running all over the place. Doggone it, where's Ken Mort when you need him?
Sitting right here in the radio station.
How are you, Ken Mort?
Deb, how about yourself?
Well, not too bad on Halloween. What are you going to dress up as today?
Well, when I take my kids out trick-or-treating tonight, I am going to be Superman. My son actually picked my costume for me this year.
You are going to be dressed up as Superman?
Yep. I'm his Superman, and that's what he wanted me to dress up as.
I think this is great, man, I'll tell you. So you're going to go trick-or-treating with the kids?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what are the kids going to wear?
Actually, my son's going to be Superman as well, and my daughter is going to be Cinderella.
Cinderella and two Supermen. That sounds like a new TV show for next fall.
Yeah, well, and my wife's dressing up as a peacock.
She got all of her feathers?
Yes, she did.
Did she go to the lady that I directed her to? Awesome. Okay.
Oh, my goodness. She's dressing up as a peacock?
Oh, yeah. She finished her costume last night, and she's got a great big old fan like what Gina had posted on her Facebook page, and it turned out really well.
Did it?
I really want to see you folks get in and out of the car, and I want to see what the general public thinks of a very distinguished head of animal control wearing his Superman outfit, escorting his lovely peacock down the street.
Well, I will definitely be posting pictures on Facebook.
Well, now tell us about Dog Nation. What's going on with the dogs this morning?
Well, today we're featuring Arrow. He is a black and white pit bull, 1 to 2 years old. Very friendly, lots of energy, loves people, is okay with other dogs, shows no aggression towards them. Was actually brought in with, we believe, is his brother, Annette, who is is brown and white pit bull, same age.
Mm-hmm.
They look identical to each other other than their coloring. They do not like cats, which is a plus in your book.
Oh, yeah.
And we actually, I picked them up running at large. They showed up to a lady's house, and she kind of freaked out. One of the reasons why I'm featuring one of our pit bulls today is I don't know if anybody out there watched the American Humane Society's awards last night on TV, but the Dog of the Year through the American Humane Society was a female pit bull that was actually rescued out of a shelter, adopted out of a shelter, and had been turned into a major service dog. It actually goes into schools.
Really?
Helps children with reading.
Wow.
It goes into senior citizen centers and helps with stuff in the senior citizen centers. I mean,
Whoa. How does a dog help a child with reading? What if they say the wrong word? Does it slap them upside the head with a paw and point to the word, or what does it do?
It's actually more along the lines of like a comfort type thing for children, relax them and stuff like that. Just from what I was told about it, I didn't get to watch it last night because my kids were wanting to watch Monsters University.
Monsters University.
Yes.
Sounds like a real high-class program.
Oh, it is. But yeah, I mean, and a lot of people get a bad perception about pit bulls just because of the illegal fighting rings and stuff like that, and the bad stories that get published about them. But they don't realize that the original purpose of the breeding of the pit bull
was for a nanny dog.
Was for nanny dogs.
Yep.
You're kidding me.
No, they actually bred pit bulls to take care of the kids while the parents were out in the field.
I didn't know that.
That's why pit bulls were bred. They are a very, very loving creature, and they're a pack animal, so they require to be near their family.
Oh, well, now that just makes me feel warm and fuzzy all over. Yeah, I think I'll lay down on the rug and curl up and eat a cracker.
We actually had that happen. We had a lady that come over to the facility one day, and she had her little girl in the back seat of her vehicle, and she was wanting to foster one of the pit bulls we had. Well, all of a sudden, her daughter started crying. Instantly, on that young pit bull and stuff, and that turned to the vehicle, went over to the vehicle, jumped inside, got back with the little girl to make sure that she was okay, and licked her on the cheek, and basically telling her, "You're going to be okay."
I love that. I like those kind of stories. That's nice. You know, I just think what you're doing, and I know we have fun with you on Dog Nation, but what you're doing is such a valuable service to humanity and also to canines, and I just absolutely salute you, Ken Mort.
Thanks, Ed.
You're very welcome. Okay, now along with this dog, what if somebody is looking for a certain type of dog, and you might happen to have it? Do you have kind of a bookkeeping system you can call them and let them know?
We take down their information. I mean, we've got Post-it notes everywhere on that, and of people that are looking for a specific type of animals or specific type of dogs on that. And we actually, as soon as we get something that fits that, we'll contact them, let them know that whether it was an owner surrender or whether it was one I picked up. Because if it's an owner surrender, we can immediately start finding it at home. But if it is one I just wind up picking up on the street, we hold it for 5 days before we put it up for adoption.
I see.
Given the original owners and the opportunity to be able to come and claim their family pet. But we turn around and get in touch with them and let them know, and then if they're still interested, they come in and adopt it.
I'll tell you what, I've got nothing but respect for you. Officer Ken Mort with Minidoka Animal Control. And tell us the name of the dog again real fast. I'm almost out of time.
His name is Arrow, and he's 1 to 2 years old, real friendly, loving, doesn't like cats. And, I mean, is good with most other dogs, has no problem on that being around them. I mean, he loves giving hugs.
All right. Well, listen, Ken, God bless you. Now we know who let all the dogs out. Hey, have a good one with Dog Nation. Thank you, Ken Mort. I tell you, that man has really devoted his life to taking care of dogs and everything, and I respect him. I've known him for a long, long time. Don't forget, let's ride Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Oh, they're open Tuesdays through Saturdays, and they've got all the 2014 snow machines there. The snowmobile's ready to hit the hills. Oh, what a great display over there. And all the brand new 2014 ATVs. Oh, wow. And all the accessories. And don't forget, they got a great parts and service department, best guys in the valley. Locally owned, ready to serve you. Let's ride Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Definitely, absolutely, that is where the fun is sold. Let's go to the phone lines right now, and I always look forward to Thursdays, because I get a chance to visit with the lovely Rita Ramsey. Good morning, lovely Rita Ramsey. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm real good. How are you?
Well, I got to be honest with you. This has been such a busy week of trying to follow and to kind of connect the dots. That's a good way to put it. Connect the dots of an absolutely distorted, deranged administration with Obama and the rest of his hench people. You just don't know what's going on back there with Sebelius and healthcare and the cover-ups of Benghazi. There's more things coming to light on that. Wow. This is really something to sit back and watch.
Well, that's what they're hoping we will do, is sit back and watch, because while we're paying attention to Obamacare right now, and there will be something else that comes down the pike that we'll start paying attention to, is that they can do whatever they want. And, you know, it's like that old adage, if you look at the magician who's got something in his right hand and he's showing you this and that and the other, what's the left hand doing?
Absolutely.
That's what's going on.
Well, now let's break this down just a little bit, because you're as cynical about what's going on back there in Washington as I am, or I might even be worse, I don't know. Earlier this morning, I said I summed up the interrogation of Kathleen Sebelius into 3 words. Very frustrating, partisan, and arrogant. Would you agree with those words?
Oh, that was what she did, but I think that there could have been some heavier hitting questions.
I do too. I do too. You know, let me ask you this. You just brought it up. I thought, and boy, I tell you, I'm so glad you mentioned this. The Democrats did nothing but spend their 4 minutes in just basically condemnation of the Republicans for even sitting in the room and questioning the omnipotent power and knowledge of Obamacare. And then the Republicans tried to get some questions in there and get answers, and it was just the very smug kind of an arrogant, I don't know, I'll find out, we'll let you know in November. I mean, what did they accomplish?
Well, I think it was just kind of a circus, because I don't think that they got to any of the information that was needed. It just showed that she has a disdain for any accountability, and it just showed that she figured, hey, you know, I can do whatever I want. I don't have to answer to anybody. And then when she makes her, okay, yeah, I'm responsible. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean all you have to do is say you're responsible and it's all over with?
Yeah. There was a couple of things, though, that I wanted to ask you about. I am very, very critical. When I listen to people and watch people, I watch body language. And I see what they're doing with their hands. I see what they're doing with their the way they slope their shoulders. I see what they do with their facial features and everything. I'm a student of body language. I had a professor that taught about that in college. And I'm seeing a woman that, honestly, she is very ill-informed. She might be the figurehead for Obamacare, but she doesn't know a doggone thing.
Well, and I think that's why they chose her. They chose somebody that would be very complicit in all of their wishes and whims and run it, and you know, wouldn't be any more the less for not getting any answers and stuff. It's just pathetic to think that these people can go in there without having to account to anybody for what's going on. But it was a pretty true thing that once they got elected, and remember, they're the ones who won the election. That's what they keep reminding everybody, is that they could do anything that they wanted to, and they don't have to account to anybody, and nobody can ask questions, or nobody can say, wait a minute, what's going on? Just like that deal with Ted Cruz. He didn't have any right to do that, according to them. Well, of course, he had every right in the world to do that, but they figured, hey, you know, we won the election, we can do whatever we want to do.
You know, there is a day of reckoning for any administration and any political personality. And when you hear that President Obama's approval rating is hovering now over the abyss of falling into the 30% ranking, he's at 42, and a lot of people think that in less than 30 days he'll be at 39 or 38%. People are just really kind of getting fed up with the man. I think that shows a lot and tells a lot as to what might happen next year in 2014 elections.
Well, I hope so, but it's only going to be if the people will start standing up and learning what they need to know to be an informed electorate. That's the part that really worries me, is that we kind of think, well, we can get some new members of the Congress and maybe a few more members of the Senate
on the conservative side and get them in there, and then we can make a few changes. Well, I don't know that that's true. I think that the American people are going to have to start learning and using the only power that they have, and that is knowledge of what's going on. They're going to have to do their homework. They're going to have to teach their kids. They're going to have to pay attention. They're going to have to ask the representatives questions and find out what's going on and make the representatives accountable to the voter, so that when we do vote, we know who we're getting and what we're getting, and that they know that they have some expectations to meet.
Rita, if you and your business rolled out a promotion to promote your business as poorly as what Obamacare has been rolled out to the general public, you would be laughed out of town and everybody wouldn't even consider doing business with you. This has been such a joke, such a debacle. It is completely misconstrued. It's not tied together with all the loose ends just frayed. I've never seen anything like this in my life as poorly presented to the public as Obamacare. Do you agree?
I do, and the thing that's sad about it is there's a big percentage of the people who are saying, oh, it's okay, or there's just, they're going along with, there was a glitch, so it'll be okay and we'll get on it. There's still tons of people out there that think that it's absolutely free and it's okay that they get free stuff, instead of thinking, well, somebody's having to pay for it. Who's paying for it? It's not the people who are getting it free, it's somebody else. And it isn't just a gift from the government, because the government is the one who takes the money from the people and redistributes it.
Did you happen to hear yesterday, Rita, Dr. Larry Kawa from Florida on my program, and he's implementing a lawsuit against the Obama administration and Obamacare. Currently, with his insurance program, he's spending $20,000 a month, and it's going to go up at least 40% to his business, and he's suing the president and Obamacare for many of the same reasons that I've been griping about Obamacare ever since the Supreme Court passed on it. I think we need more Larry Kawas in the United States to bring attention to how absolutely criminal Obamacare and this administration are.
I do too, and when I was listening to him, I couldn't help but think, I hope there's tons of people that have some skin in the game that will get on board and maybe even make a class action lawsuit out of it or something, because there's got to be something really, really big and bold in order for it to mean anything, and it's going to have to start moving really fast, or they'll put it on hold for several years and while the system totally is destroyed, and we're all out in the cold wondering, wonder what direction we ought to go now that we've ruined all the insurance companies and got all the doctors out of the systems, and we don't have doctors, and we don't have new doctors coming up, and that type of thing.
Well, now let's just talk about it. Here's a scenario. Supposing you're one of now millions of people that have lost their insurance. They've had a letter of cancellation. And you're sitting there in your living room, you open that letter up where you have no more health care. Your company has canceled the policy. And you go to the computer and you're a nervous wreck, because every minute that ticks off that day and for the future days, you don't have any coverage. Anything could happen, and oh my goodness, how are you going to pay for it? So you go to the computer and you try to get on the website, and it won't let you on because it's a total failure. So you're sitting there with no insurance, and there's millions of Americans right now that are sweating profusely because they've been canceled. They can't get on the website. What do? They're scared for their families.
Well, they should be scared, because this is what the government had in mind. I don't know that they had in mind that it wouldn't come to fruition and people couldn't sign up for it. But it kind of tells you something when they go to somebody in a different country who have done a similar type of thing, and it didn't work for them, and we would hire them to do it, and they would think that they would get something different, or maybe they figured they had enough experience that this time it would work. Well, they didn't make the other one work, so I don't know why they would this one. But I think that's where they want us. They want us needy and dependent, and they want us to have to rely on the government because they don't have any place else to go. We got a letter several months ago from our insurance company saying that we needed to notify our employees whether or not we had a plan, an insurance plan that would meet the Affordable Care Act, so that they would know whether they needed to get something different or what. And so I couldn't figure out whether I had, something that qualified or not. And so I called my insurance people, who is Blue Cross, and asked them, does mine meet the criteria, or this letter that I have to give them, does I have to tell them that they need to find something else or what? And she asked me, she said, well, I can't really tell with this, but she said, really the deciding thing is how much do your employees have to pay? Because if they have to pay part of it, it won't qualify. And I said, they don't pay anything. We pay their whole thing. And she said, well, then it qualifies, because they're not paying for it. You're furnishing it, and it qualifies. So I sent out the letter to all my employees saying what you have is, qualifies, and you're good, and da-da-da-da. It was a form letter that they gave that we had to send out. Mm-hmm. A couple of weeks after I sent it out, then I get a notice saying that when your policy comes up for renewal, it will not meet the qualifications of the Affordable Care Act, and therefore you will have to change it. Well, you know what that change really means is that you're going to have to pay a whole lot more money for it, because now we're changing you from your one policy to another to accommodate, and I don't know why it wouldn't accommodate it, because our insurance covers everything. They just want us to have to pay more money to where we'll get rid of it and put our employees on their own.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, and I know I don't know if you're going to wrinkle your nose up at the telephone and think, oh my goodness, what a weirdo when I say this, but a possibility, a scenario. Do you think it could be possible that all of this rollout in a very unprofessional fashion, not having the computers ready, not having the internet ready, not having anything ready to go to the public October 1st, and then the insurance companies being told by the White House, shut up and keep quiet, do not talk about Obamacare. Do you think that this could be a very clandestine plot to really push in front of the American public with the destruction of Obamacare and the implementation of it, a single-payer system, and bang, they've got us?
Absolutely, because that's what they wanted to begin with. And if you'd heard Obama talking, and Harry Reid even said it in, I think it was in 2008 or 2009, that was what he said is, well, eventually we're just going to have to be to a single-payer system. That's the only way we're going to be able to do it. So I don't think they intended for it to work. I think they intended for the insurance companies to get on and advise them and act like, yeah, this is a grand thing, and get a bunch of people saying, yeah, this is going to be really wonderful, and we advised him. And first of all, the insurance companies advised him thinking, and I think unknowledgeably, I can't believe that they would think that, but they think that if they advised the president that they'd have an inside track so that they'd be able to pull up a lot more customers, because everybody now has to buy the products that I sell. And so they're thinking, oh, well, we're going to get a lot more people, so we'll get on board and da-da-da-da-da-da and do along with it. And then you get a lot of other people and all kinds of stuff thinking, yeah, this is going to be good, and this is how it's going to work. And just like President Obama getting up there and saying, hey, if you like your doctor, if you like your health care plan, you can keep it. Well, that was a bold-faced lie. We know it was. Their total object of the whole thing was to get a single-payer system, and we know darn good and well that doesn't work, because Medicare and Medicaid aren't working.
Right. I've got to interrupt here just for a quick second. We have to have a weather update brought to everybody by Lennox Home Comfort Systems through our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Here now, Michael Rogers Weather with an update.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Sunny clouds today and tomorrow. Still on the cool side. 57 for the high today, 59 for the high tomorrow. Warming up 63 by Saturday, which means that we're getting away from the back end of this cold front and look for a pretty nice weekend. Overnight lows will be in the mid to upper 30s. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Don't know whether you got it.
Thank you very much, Michael. Brought to you by Lennox Home Comfort Systems through our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley, 678-0459. I want to talk to you a little bit about yesterday. on two networks, and this is kind of surprising, Rita, because we haven't heard anybody except maybe some private talk show hosts like myself and Hannity and some others mention the I word, but now some of the networks and some of their reporters are starting to say the word impeachment. And all of this because of the lies and the stories and the untruths that Obama has been uttering about various subjects, and also the arrogancy that he's shown in saying that he doesn't know about facts pertaining to Benghazi or Fast and Furious or the IRS scandal. And a lot of people are saying, whoa, wait a minute, if he is lying and not telling the truth, he is subjecting himself to possible impeachment process. What do you think?
Well, I think that would be all fine and good, but when they start talking about impeachment, it just tells me, oh, great, we're going to have all of our lawmakers sitting in a big group trying to decide whether they should punish or not, and then whatever conclusion they come to, it probably won't change anything, just like with Clinton. And so they've wasted all of their time doing that. They need to take one thing at a time, get to the bottom of it, and make a big decision. You know what? It needs to be Benghazi. It needs to be Fast and Furious. It needs to be the IRS thing. It needs to be all the wasted money spent on the Obamacare stuff, and it needs to be on the Obamacare that they were all lying to us before we totally destroy our system, because we're already headed down that road, and it may be too late to come back. I don't know. But I think that if they start doing an impeachment thing, that just puts everything on hold, and it could last through the end of his presidency anyway, and we didn't get anything. I
agree. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit. I got to get this in here before we run out of time. Knowing that you are, and I mean this in the most polite terms, a news junkie like I am, you've probably been following this NSA story and how absolutely out of control people are saying the NSA with their surveillance and their spying and their espionage has become. And we heard this morning that they have even spied and intercepted and listened to calls from the Pope in the Vatican. What are your thoughts about the NSA?
Well, I think it's just out of control, and of course it started with the Patriot Act when we were all afraid because we were being attacked by people that we didn't know, and we didn't know why, and we didn't understand it, and we were scared, and we thought, well, we're going to have to give up some of our freedoms for some security. And of course that was one of the things that our forefathers warned us against, that when you start giving up your freedoms for security, you don't deserve either. And now we're down to where we aren't going to get either. We're not going to have freedom, and we're not going to have the security. And it's because now they can do anything they want. They can manufacture whatever they want. I had a guy at work telling me the other day, and he doesn't listen to a lot of, I mean, he's not a news junkie like I am, but he was saying, well, yeah, I was trying to get online to buy a video. We'd been talking about a video the day before. It's a really cute Hallmark one. And so he said, I got online and I typed in the boys next door, and he said, I got a porn site. I said, you should have gone on Hallmark. And he said, yeah, but the thing that I'm worried about is, he said, with the NSA and everything, he said, they can go back and see what I've pulled up on my computer, and they may even arrest me because I was on a porn site, and I didn't have any reason to be, and I wasn't trying to do anything, and I'm not a child predator or anything. And so now they've got everybody scared because they can just go back and find out whatever they want and manufacture information to do whatever they please as far as punishment goes.
Let me ask you, though, do you think that we've gone so far? And I'm reading a book, and I had the gentleman on my program about 9-10 months ago. He's a former Marine, and his name is Rob Olive, and he wrote the book called Essential Liberty, and it's all about how the government is going to try a complete gun confiscation program to eradicate guns through a program called the Family Protection Act. And what he wrote about in this book, and this book has been written now for almost 2 years, but the story, the theme of this book about how they're going to go house to house and collect all the guns, and if you don't turn them in, you're going to be considered a felon. Rita, is it too late to put the cork in the bottle? Because we're coming to that kind of a society.
The only thing that we can do, that I feel like that we can do, because Washington's out of control, the world's out of control, the big stuff is out of control, is it has to be done here by our states. And this is, it kind of goes back to that deal that, I can't even remember his name now, but I was so impressed with his presentation. He was on your show, Dr. I can't remember. Anyway, from Oklahoma.
Yeah. Dr. Ritz.
Yes. And he reiterated and told of the power that the individual states have, and they are using that power in their legislatures in Oklahoma, as ours should be doing, to say to the government, we don't want anything that you have to offer because you take away our freedoms and you demand that we do other stuff, and then we're stuck with the bill. The states have the rights, and you read in the Constitution where it says that the federal government shall have no rights over the states unless the states can't take care of it on their own. And so the federal government needs to be totally taken out of the loop, because the states have felt their empowerment and understand and realize. And this is what I want to know from our representatives. Do you understand and realize the power that you have, and are you making those kind of decisions so that we're going to be, if we have to be in our own entity, that's fine. This fellow from Oklahoma told us that he thought, or in the figures that he was looking at, it looked like that Idaho was just almost a 50-50 for the money that we send into the feds for what we get back, which means we wouldn't have to worry about anything if we went on our own. We would just be our own state and forget about it. He said that theirs is 60-40. They send in 60% and get 40 back, and so they have the upper hand. But you know what? There's tons of states that could take over and do their own thing. Get the federal government out of our business, leave us alone, do your thing, which is national defense, and be done with it. But instead, we let them come in and just do everything. Now that they have health care and we've got Common Core, they're in charge of all the schooling. It's all nationalized. They've got the 1/6 of the economy with Obamacare, and they have us under their thumb.
I agree. Rita, I wanted to, but we just went out of time. I wanted to discuss with you another story that scares me about our losing our rights. It was about a raid that was put on a former Washington Times reporter, Audrey Hudson. I'm going to put this on the back burner for next Thursday, and we'll talk about it before then so you can kind of brush yourself up on the case. But this is another case of government just basically taking away our freedoms and rights, and I want to discuss that with you next week. And thank you so much for all your time here on the show this morning.
Okay, thanks a lot, Zeb. We'll see you.
God bless you. Rita Ramsey on our program. I always look forward to Thursdays. A very, very nice lady. Very, very well educated in what's going on in the world of politics. Oh, let's take a look at the clock. Oh my, it is Thursday. And as you know, on this time of the day, I get hungry, and I start really getting those stomach pains that say, you better eat something. Well, if you're hungry and starving to death, I know some great places to go, and I'm going to share those with you right now. How about Burgers, etc.? 2 locations to serve you at 700 North Oberlin in Burley and 124 South Oneida in Rupert. Oh, yeah, and don't forget, they can get you burritos or corn dogs for just 99 cents after 3 p.m. Stop by after school for a snack or on the weekends. And remember, on Sunday in Burley, they've got shrimp dinner specials. Oh my goodness, all the corn dogs, hot dogs, burritos, everything at Burgers, etc. in Burley and Rupert. You're going to love it. Taco Bandito, my goodness sakes, 2301 Overland Avenue in Burley, and they've got the pumpkin empanadas. Have you had a pumpkin empanada? They are good. Taco Bandito is known for their pumpkin empanadas with the whipped cream and everything. You're going to love them, along with the grilled chicken, bacon, ranch quesadillas, and the taco salad burritos, and the chimichangas, and the macho burritos. Everything is absolutely fantabulous at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland Avenue in Burley. How about let's move on over to Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. Let's take a look here. Oh, on these chillier fall days, they've got homemade soups every day, made fresh every day, homemade delicious. And, of course, they've got great menus with all the steaks and the chicken and the seafood and the salads. And they got kids' menus. They've got it all for you and your dining delight at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. And last but not least, on our Starving to Death tour, don't forget the AC Drive-In, 601 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, my goodness, pumpkin milkshakes, yummy good. And, of course, the Farmer Brown burgers, the famous Farmer Brown burgers, and all the cheese sticks and the fresh-cut French fries with all the sauce. Oh, all the milkshakes, any flavor you want, they can make for you. You're going to love it. The AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. And those are just a few places for you to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Are you, lady?
Biscuits and gravy, hon. That's what I want.
Oh, you're always so picky about what you want.
Well, yeah, actually, I'm really not picky, but biscuits and gravy always sounds good.
Did I ask you what kind of a costume you're going to wear?
Over the weekend, I was Queen Peacock.
Queen Peacock.
I'll send you a picture. I'll send it to you.
So are you and Ken's wife kind of in cahoots?
No, actually, I had been creating this costume, and she knew about it, and so she was asking me where I got all of my materials and everything, because my costume was handmade, and so I kind of directed her into the proper directions on where she needed to go to get her equipment.
But you see, it's okay for you or Mort or his lovely wife, anybody to wear a costume, because then people don't know who it is. But here you go and buy an expensive costume or make one for me, and I walk in on crutches, and they go, "Hi, Zeb."
Exactly. Yeah, everybody knows it's you. Okay, I just sent you on your phone my Halloween costume that I made.
I will be looking for it during the ABC News.
Okay.
Now, what we've got coming up this next hour, we've got Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, and then the Cassia County School Days Report. And then at about 10:20, I want you to remember back into the archives of your mind the scariest Halloween moment that you ever had.
The scariest Halloween moment I've ever had.
Yeah, I can remember one when I was a sophomore in high school.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So we're going to listen to that at about 10:20 this morning. And then at 10:30, Jack Euler is going to be on to dispute what we saw in the Times News as a story that is not true, and we're going to dispute that. So we've got a lot of things coming up.
Okay, I'm just trying to find a good song that we can exit the show with.
Okay, well, I'm exiting right now by telling everybody I'll be back in 6. Zeb at the Ranch, stay tuned. We've got a lot more. Whoa. That music goes right along with that peacock costume that you're going to be wearing. Woo! Birds of a feather.
Birds of a feather. And actually, that was entirely handmade. I made that entirely myself.
I'll tell you what. No, I won't. Okay. Welcome back, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, and, of course, some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. And we're going to have them on the air in just a minute. I have a finalization now on that Kirk Webb benefit dinner and auction. It will be tonight at 5 p.m. at the CSI Expo Center. They're going to have a dinner and a silent auction and a live auction tonight, and the benefit is for Kirk Webb, local cattleman and friend that was injured in an accident on October 1st. That's going to be tonight at CSI's Expo Center at 5 p.m. Don't miss it, please. And right now we go to 459 Overland in Burley, and we talk to Mr. Brent Lee. Good morning, sir.
Well, Zeb, in the spirit of Halloween today, trick or treat, today you don't get tricked by talking to Brent, you get treated by speaking with Jeff.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Hello, Jeff. What in the world is going on over at Lee's Furniture?
Well, Zeb, we got a lot going on. Thank you very much for letting us join you on your show today. I just would like to share to all of your listeners out there, we have some great specials that we have just recently received into the store, and if you don't mind me taking a second, I'd just like to tell everyone about those. We have just received in a new large shipment of additional floor covering into the store, and when I say floor covering, this means carpet, both commercial and residential, and some beautiful, wonderful carpets, some of those smart strand carpets we've talked about before. We have a number of new selections of vinyl flooring for people who are looking for something, maybe for a kitchen or dining room area. And then, of course, we have laminate flooring. We have tile. We have everything, Zeb.
Oh, my goodness. If it comes to something to curl your toes around, you've got it, don't you?
That's right. And then also, in addition to that, if you don't mind me saying so, we'd just like to invite all of your listeners to come into the store. We have a brand new, humongous truckload shipment of recliners in. If you're looking for a chair or a pair, we have the largest selection of chairs to choose from. We have rocker recliners. We have wall savers. We have men's chairs. We have ladies' chairs. We have snuggler chairs. We have leather chairs. We have power chairs. The list goes on. And this is legitimately one of the best opportunities to come in and take advantage of the discounts before the seasonal rush. So we'd like to let everyone know that we have those in just now, and we are unwrapping those as we speak.
Unwrapping as we speak. We can hear the rustle of the plastic covers right now in the background. By the way, I've said this many, many times. You really have to get in and try a recliner on because they fit everybody, tall, short, heavy, thin, whatever. They fit everybody differently.
That's absolutely right. And, the women out there, oftentimes will say, well, I just can't really find a recliner that's comfortable for me. Well, we carry specifically a number of different styles so that women can find one that they like. And if you don't want to have two identical pairs, buy a his, maybe a hers as well. We can get different styles in the same fabric. So for those customers that want to have a matching pair but fit them each proportionately, we have those as well. Zeb, also, as you're aware, we carry a large selection of mattresses in stock. We have our mattresses on sale right now. Now, it's quite limited right now, but we still have a few of our queen-size pocketed coil mattress box sets, regularly $11.99. Right now, if you hurry in, we have those available for $599.
Ooh.
10-year warranty. They're very comfortable. They're fantastic. And in addition to that, we have all of the Beauty Rest pocketed coil mattresses available. Every type of mattress for your specific individual need, whether you're not sleeping well, sore back, whatever the case is, these mattresses are designed specifically for you.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you something. We didn't lose anybody with talent. I'll guarantee you. We just upped the ante with Jeff because he always does a great job when he talks about Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley. One thing, too, you've got excellent people working there that really understand beauty and comfort of their homes.
Thank you, Zeb. In fact, we take great pride in that. We want each of the people out there listening right now to know that we have something for you. No matter what you're looking for, we will take care of you.
All right. Jeff, God bless. Have a good day.
Thank you, Zeb. Appreciate
Thank you.
So much.
You betcha. Bye-bye. Oh, let's see. Right now, I want to remind everybody, I got to get all my papers straightened around here. I just had kind of a wreck here a moment ago as I was trying to shift things along, and I lost everything in order. I've got it alphabetized. I am getting organized. I've got everything alphabetized on my list. And then I dropped them. Hey, the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Don't forget, they've got delicious luncheon specials for you. Oh, my goodness. Monday through Friday for just $5.95, best deal in town. And then they've got the senior citizen dinner specials, Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m., only $5.95. What's going on? Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be Halloween surprise tonight. What you'd better do is stop in to the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main, and they'll open the door and go, our dinner special is this. Stop in and see what it is. The Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Right now, it is time to get on the telephone, and we're going to be visiting with the principal of White Pine Elementary, and that's Mr. Matt Seeley, and we're going to be talking to him on behalf of School Days in Cassia County, brought to everyone by A Child's World at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley, and, of course, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Good morning, Mr. Matt Seeley.
Hello, good morning, Zeb.
How are you today, sir?
Doing great, thanks.
Well, Matt, I understand, and thank you, by the way, for being on School Days in Cassia County, but I understand that you are going to be talking about improving and increasing writing skills with the students with a new kind of a teaching tool called Write Tools. What does that mean?
That's correct. Well, it's a writing I guess you could say it's a protocol that teachers can use, and it's very teacher-friendly. Different skills that they can use to impart writing fluency, writing efficiency, and good, competent writing to their students. And it goes back, we started this here at White Pine as more than 3 years ago. I took a group of our leadership team to a conference in Denver, Colorado. And this is associated with Doug Reeves. He's an educational researcher, and I had a lot of respect for him because he's one of those researchers that keeps a foot in the classroom. And he had a conference in Denver highlighting research over a long period of time, over more than a decade of research on what they called 90-90-90 schools. Schools that are 90% poverty, 90% minority, and yet still 90% proficient in academic achievement. And one of the main components of those schools, commonalities between those schools, is they had a high concentration on informational writing, getting kids to write down their ideas and competently compose writing to inform, writing to explain. And we saw that at this conference, and we thought that's something that we could do. We knew that we hadn't taught writing well, and we knew we could improve that at our school.
Let me ask you a question there, though. Matt, do you think that in general, that whether it's elementary, whether it's high school, or even college, that because of the technology and everything else, that we've lost our ability to just sit down and write our thoughts as to maybe a short story or something that happened to us, or maybe give a recount of maybe a summer trip? Have we lost that ability to really express ourselves through the pen and the pad?
Well, I think I would agree that there's an element of that in technology, because we value with the technology, sometimes we value the short explanation, or and the incorrect spelling, LOL or whatever. There is there's a tendency to that, I think, in technology, and not that we want to necessarily, this is countering that, but we want to keep alive the ability to write and express, because despite what kids experience in technology, it's an important skill for the workplace, it's an important skill for college, it's an important skill that can enhance anybody's career.
Well, now, I've been involved in writing all my life. As a matter of fact, I'm currently trying, and I underline the word trying to finish my book that I started 2 years ago. As a matter of fact, short stories about my life and everything that's going on. And I also write a weekly blog and newsletter, Cow Pies and Coffee Cups, and I just love to write. And I think it's something that if the kids are not exposed to it, they really might not find out how much talent they have in that area.
And it's true, and that's one of the rewarding things about this, is that we came back as a leadership team and we thought we're gonna use the right tools, because it's an easily implemented plan, and we thought our teachers could really take hold of it. So we trained every teacher starting in November of 2010, and we've tried to keep all of our new teachers, which have been many in the past couple of years, a lot of retirees. But we've tried to keep our new teachers updated and current on the strategies. But it's been gratifying to see kids, even in 4th grade, I'll have a teacher give me a set of papers that they've written. And these are clear, competently written paragraphs. And, they guided them through it. They write rough drafts. They edit, they peer edit. But those are all great steps in helping kids understand how to write. I know that as a kid, a lot of us, when we were exposed to this writing process, we had to admit that in school, a lot of times we were assigned writing and not really taught well how to compose.
Yeah, but I'll say this, though, Matt, and maybe you won't agree with me as the principal of a school, White Pine Elementary, but I honestly think that sometimes teachers and people in education stymie thought and inhibit thought on paper because they might say, well, you didn't put that right. The verb's in the wrong place and the adjectives, and they're too critical of people trying to express their thoughts. Let them express their thoughts and then go back afterwards and say maybe an added mark for improvement here, or this was grammatically incorrect, you can change it. But I think sometimes education is the one that actually stymies a good thought on paper.
And I would agree that happens in some cases, and that's where the virtue of a program like Write Tools encourages kids to write, revise, rewrite, help them explore their thoughts first, and then we can make grammatical corrections later. And I think that really that tendency may play to more than just our writing program. It may play to our traditional grading system, which sometimes puts too much emphasis on being right in every little dotted I and crossed T. And I would agree that there is some of that.
Well, now, if parents want to find out more about the Write Tools, and how can they go about finding out about it? Do you have a number they can call, or can they come by the school and find out more about it? Is it in written form, in a kind of a pamphlet? What is it? Write Tools has a website.
You can Google Write Tools and find a lot of information online about Write Tools. We always welcome people to come to our school and see what's happening in our classrooms. They can visit with teachers we have a lot of teachers who are becoming quite the experts in teaching writing, and I'm always willing to answer questions too. It's a great program, and we've seen the rewarding signs of improvement in our students.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, I want to compliment you. I think this is really kind of exciting because I just love to write, and I hope a lot of students take up that skill. And if they have questions, get a hold of Matt Seeley, the principal at White Pine Elementary. Matt, thanks for being on Cassia County School Days. You did a really good job.
My pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. Very interesting. School Days in Cassia County, brought to you by A Child's World. And oh my goodness, have they got a lot of things going on at Child's World. You can save 30% off this weekend on toys, family games, puzzles, books, and dress-up clothes. Plus, they've got literally hundreds of holiday and winter dresses that have arrived in newborn all the way to size 16. And they also have the plus sizes, too. You better get into A Child's World. You better believe it. What a nice family store. Free gift wrapping and layaway at A Child's World, 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley. And also the other sponsor of School Days in Cassia County includes Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Oh boy, the number to remember, so easy and so beneficial for you and your family, 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. For over 14 years, the Ambulatory Surgery Center of Burley has saved area families thousands and thousands of dollars as they received outstanding medical care. Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley, and A Child's World at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley have brought you on Zeb at the Ranch School Days in Cassia County. Oh my goodness, Halloween. Ha ha ha. And the lovely, and I emphasize that word lovely, I'm staring at this picture. I can't put it down, Gina Jameson.
Yeah, it was a good time. I got a lot of compliments on that one.
Let me tell you, you got my compliment.
People can actually find it on my Facebook page if they're one of my friends.
My. That, you just come and trick-or-treat anytime you want to.
Well, only if Deanne's there.
What's that?
I said only if Deanne's there.
Oh, she will be. She will be. She will be. I had to emphasize that, too. Thank you very much.
She's got to see the costume.
Oh, yes. But now, I asked you earlier about your scariest Halloween moment.
My scariest Halloween moment as a child?
Well, yeah, unless it happened at K-Bar, which anything's scary when you're working over there.
Actually, sometimes at night when you're here all by yourself, I swear to God, this place has got some ghosts and ghouls and goblins in this place, because this place makes some weird noises at night when you're here by yourself.
Well, I would imagine it's probably because of the equipment cooling down and everything, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't really think of a scary Halloween moment. However, I will say that there has been some activity, as it were, in my house, because my house has been through some trauma in the past, and there is, I honestly swear that there's an entity that lives in my house. She's a female, and I think her name is Janine, and she loves the Rolling Stones. And there's been times in the past, and honestly, because of this, I actually removed this particular stereo. I used to have a 51-disc CD changer stereo, everything. And I used to have a lot of my CDs loaded in there, and one of them was the Rolling Stones. And I wouldn't play it all the time, but and a lot of times I would just have the stereo off, and, watching TV or whatever. And there have been times where I was just home alone. Nothing was on. Stereo was off. I mean, completely off. It was not on. It was off. And it would turn itself on and go directly to that Rolling Stone CD every single time. And so I was talking to my neighbors, the longtime neighbors in where I live, and they had confirmed that there was a woman that had lived there that, she had passed in the house in kind of a gruesome way. And that she was honestly a big fan of the Rolling Stones.
I was just getting a note and from my wife, and thank goodness for Deanne clarifying this. You know what? We've been advertising. We handed some information that was wrong. It was wrong. It was put out wrong by your former employer, and we've just had a correction sent to us. Evidently somebody heard that. And the dinner that we were talking about for Kirk Webb, benefit dinner and auction, is not tonight. It is going to be November 16th, as we had previously said at 5 p.m., not tonight at 5 p.m. November 16th at CSI's Expo Center. Thank you, Deanne. We do appreciate that.
You bet.
Oops, I'll give you that one back. Thanks. All right. So,
what's your scariest moment?
Scariest moment in close to Halloween is when I was 11 years old, and I can honestly tell you this story, and it's a true story. We were up at my Aunt May and Uncle Archie's in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and we were hunting, and it was towards the end of October, going into November, and we were up there on Halloween weekend. And we were staying upstairs in the old farmhouse. And Rhinelander, Wisconsin is way out in the middle of the woods. Way out in the middle of the woods where their farm was. And my Aunt May and Uncle Archie, his brother, Jim, had formerly lived with them after his wife had passed away. And he stayed in the upstairs bedroom next to the bedroom where we were sleeping. My dad and I were sleeping. And it was common knowledge that he would have been also my Uncle Jim, always took the newspaper upstairs through the bedrooms into his room and read it every evening before he went to sleep.
Okay.
I woke up and shook my dad to death almost and said, "My gosh, Dad, there's somebody in the room. There's somebody in the room." And he woke up and he said, "There's nobody in the room. Go back to sleep." And the next morning at breakfast, my Aunt May and Uncle Archie said, "What was all that yelling and screaming about?" And I said, "I saw somebody in the room last night." And I described that he was a man wearing a red flannel shirt with gray hair holding a newspaper under his arm. And my Aunt May and Uncle Archie almost fell off the table.
Because you saw...
I saw, evidently, the ghost of Uncle Jim.
Sometimes entities have a heart, and I honestly, truly believe this. And you can, laugh at me if you want to, but I honestly, truly believe that there are some spirits that have problems moving on, and so they get attached to the space, and their energy is attached to that particular space, and so, yeah, they will make themselves known.
I tell you what, I've never forgot that, though, because he was notorious. He loved red flannel shirts, and he always carried the newspaper, my Aunt May said, underneath his left arm, and that's exactly how I described it. And everybody at the kitchen table looked at us like, "Oh, boy, how did he know that?"
And, there was this one house that I grew up in, or we at least lived in for a little bit in Walla Walla.
Yeah.
And the house, it was known that this house had an entity in it, and his name was Henry. We called him Henry the Ghost. And my mom and I had lived upstairs because there was an upstairs apartment. And he didn't like guys. He preferred, the female ladies of the house. But his thing was is he would like to move things. And so one morning, and I specifically remember this, and I was about 6 years old, I was in bed, and I'd always I had on, a little night robe, and then when I'd hop in bed, I'd always put my night robe over on the other side of the room. I hopped in bed. Well, one morning, I woke up, and my night robe was over me. Like completely over me. And I'm not a sleepwalker. I've never been kind of a sleepwalker or anything like that. And we would always hear, little bumps and thumps and everything, especially upstairs where we lived. So there's some strange stuff going on out there. Well, hold on. I've got that one, too.
You've got that one, too?
Yeah.
The world's universe is sometimes unexplainable. Travel with us now as we go to the inner core of the inner mind, Rod Serling, and of course, the great program on, I forgot the name of the doggone show, The Twilight Zone.
More like the Zeb Bell Show.
Yeah, it's the Twilight Zone. That's what we ought to call this thing, the Twilight Zone. Anyway, your robe and my seeing Uncle Jim, and that scares me enough. I'm going to get out of this, man. We're going to turn it over to you for a couple of minutes, and then I'll be back.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, welcome back. Last half hour, and I'm very blessed to have a dear, dear friend in the studio with me right now, Mr. Jack Euler, and Jack and I are going to discuss something that I read in the newspaper this morning. And Jack, is your microphone on? You want to hold that up? And don't spit in it. You got banana bread all over you. We're eating banana bread right now, by the way. Fresh banana bread made by Deanne. There was a story in the paper this morning, and the headline in the outdoor section said, "Sportsman join push for Boulder White Cloud's monument." And I read that, and the headline is very, very misleading because it makes it sound like all Idaho hunting and fishing groups are behind Boulder White Cloud's becoming a monument. And Jack, simply put, that's a lie.
That is a lie. And if you read the groups, but what was the first question I asked you?
You asked me what are the groups involved.
Who wrote it?
Oh, who wrote it? I said Rocky Barker from Idaho Statesman. And Rocky has been notorious for putting out very, very, let's say, jaded articles in favor of environmentalism.
Completely.
Yes.
Rocky Barker is on their side. And so that's the first thing that I look at. Who wrote the article?
Yeah.
Then I go to who is involved in this. And you go to the Ada County Fish and Game League. That's ties to the Fish and Game, and it's an environmental wing of the Idaho Fish and Game and the non-game species and all that. The Idaho Wildlife Federation, that's Jerry Conley started that. Jerry Conley used to be the director of the Idaho Fish and Game. And it's interesting that I was in a meeting not long ago with Senator Brackett and the new Fish and Game Commissioner and Senator Hyder. And Senator Brackett said to the commissioner, we do not want to go back to the Jerry Conley era. So, this, if you tie who started these groups and where they come from, you can see what it is. And they're not sportsmen's groups. Idaho Checker Foundation, that's a Blaine County thing. National Wildlife Federation, that is a way to get sportsmen's dollars into the national scene.
And let's emphasize that as people read along in the story like I did this morning early at 4:30, that all of a sudden it crops up in one of the last paragraphs of the story that the Idaho Conservation League and the Wilderness Society are spearheading the campaign. And I'll tell you right there, a red flag went up, and I called Jack Euler on the phone, and I said, Jack, wait a minute. something is really wrong with this story, because the Boulder White Clouds Monument area is basically trying to shut everybody out if it becomes a monument, and hunters and sportsmen wouldn't even be allowed near the place.
Well, they could if they could walk in.
If they can walk in, and a person like myself would be shut out.
That's right. You're shut out of 760,000 acres, I think the article talks about, and we are having too many of our public lands shut down, and the roads blocked. It's going on day in and day out, and this is just more of the same. This is a political thing, and I see Mike Simpson's name on it, but Simpson's name is not involved in this. But who wrote the Boulder White Clouds thing?
Congressman Mike Simpson. Let me ask you, though, Jack, because it's really kind of shady journalism, I think, on behalf of Rocky Barker, and also I think that the Times News, rather than just take this story carte blanche and put it in the paper, the headline says, "Sportsmen join push for Boulder White Clouds Monument." It makes it sound like all sportsmen, whether they're hunters or fishermen or ATV riders, are in favor of this, and that's exactly not the case.
That's exactly not the case. And you read into the article that say the Boulder White Clouds area is capable of having 1,000 bighorn sheep in that area. They don't have a bighorn sheep thing in there, and if the Sheep Foundation was behind this, who is a sportsman's organization, the National Sheep Foundation, then you would have a sportsman's organization, but they're not there.
What is the big push for making Boulder White Clouds a national monument? I think we've got enough, if you will, monument land, quote unquote. I don't think we need to have any more and take it out of the possibility of being an earning power for the state. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. Look at what the Owyhees did under the thing that Crapo did in his thing down in the Owyhees. It closed off access to the Owyhees to people that that like to go hunting down there, that like to go chucker hunting down there. There's a group of them from Hagerman, and they can't go there anymore where they used to go, because they used to ride their four-wheelers to 4 or 5 miles from the road to the canyon rim on a trail, and then they would get off from them and they would walk and hunt.
Right.
But today they can't do it because of the Owyhee Initiative and all that kind of thing. And this goes back to, you ask what's behind this? It goes back to a politician. This is my opinion. A politician trying to satisfy part of his constituency, which came from Blaine County. You look at where the public meetings are going to be held. There's 2 public meetings that's going to be held. They're going to be held at Stanley Library.
That's right. That's right. You know, what bothers me about this whole story is that it's not necessarily the headline "Sportsmen Join Push for Boulder White Clouds," but it's the internal problem of taking the Boulder White Clouds area, turning it into a monument where only the 6-foot-tall, blonde, blue-eyed hiker can go and enjoy it, and it excludes a person like myself. And I'm still a taxpayer, more so than probably they are.
That's completely true. And you go back to the Owyhees, and who has access to it? The floaters.
Yes.
The floaters that float the river. That it's blocked everybody else out of there, unless you can walk 5 or 6 miles. Look at what happened to over by the what's that area called there northeast of Rupert, with all the dam and the water.
The Kaimana area, or
that dam over there, and they closed the roads onto all roads into that area, which a lot of people used to go there and fish, and it wasn't the Park Service, but it was whoever's in control of that. It's a federal agency. They closed it, all these roads, and people like Fred Preston could not go and fish there anymore because he couldn't walk the mile down to the reservoir anymore.
Why are we allowing this to happen? You know, there are those out in the audience right now that say, well, Zeb Bell, I really don't care about you, whether you can see the Boulder White Clouds or not. It's for the good of the people. But really what they're doing, in my opinion, is shutting it off to everyone eventually.
That's completely true. I mean, you look at the road.
They're not saving it for our grandkids or our great-grandkids. They're shutting it off.
Right. I have a cabin in Island Park, and I've had it since 1982, and I've watched the roads get closed by the Forest Service around on the Forest Service land and in Island Park. You've seen the same thing happen in the South Hills with the roads that you guys go on your four-wheelers.
Sure.
It's going to be BLM. And then they have these wildlife study areas or wildlands study areas. They close the roads to them on certain months of the year. I mean, it's a way to close the roads.
Okay, we have a guest with a caller on the air right now. And caller, go ahead. Your thoughts, please.
Isn't that the area Mike Simpson's been trying to protect for so long?
That's right.
That's completely true, Fred.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, he's got to be in there somewhere on that.
Well, Fred, I said...
They're locking up too much of this area from us public.
Absolutely. But when you have a headline, in the paper, Fred, that says sportsmen join the push for the Boulder White Clouds Monument area, that's not true. Your trout fishing groups, your Sportsmen for Fish and Wildlife, and many, many other groups are not in favor of this. And that story...
They push for that.
That's right. I mean... Yeah, that's right.
Not.
That's right. Well,
That's the good work, Jack.
Thanks, Fred.
All right, thank you very much.
See you later.
Thank you. Okay. One of the comments that was made was in the paper this morning by a Kaywood. I'm trying to find his first name here. As soon as I can, I'll put that in the story. But he said, we, meaning these groups that are in support of the Boulder White Clouds Monument, we want to make sure this world-class habitat is protected. For who?
Well, this is it. And let's go back to the right to hunt, fish, and trap bill.
Yes.
The right to hunt, fish, and trap, we got it on the ballot, and it was passed by every county in the state of Idaho except Blaine County. And where is the Boulder White Clouds? It's up there in Blaine County, and they are trying to rule. And like I said, it's my opinion that this is a political issue, and it is a way for Mike Simpson to satisfy his constituents out of Blaine County. And Blaine County is the only county that did not
go at the table. My computer jumped.
Right to go to hunt, fish, and trap.
Okay, Jack. There was another group in here mentioned. It was called the Outdoor Alliance, which represents paddlers, climbers, mountain bikers, hikers, whitewater river runners. Already have come out in support of the National Monument. Really? They're not going to be allowed in either, are they?
Yeah. If you can walk in,
if you can
walk in, and the paddlers again,
there you go.
Which we go back to the Owyhees, and that's why I have brought the Owyhees into it, because I can see the matches on the different areas and what is taken away from the general public.
So basically what they're telling me, and I have a physical challenge, and Fred and the rest of the people, what they're telling us is go ahead and keep paying your taxes, but we're going to limit your access on what you can enjoy as far as public lands.
Completely true. And who does the article say that they want to stay in control of this? Read that right out of the article.
Basically, they want the Forest Service to continue its management of the Boulder, White Clouds Mountains, and also the Forest Service.
The Forest Service and BLM.
Right.
On that peak, whatever it was.
I'm offended by these kind of stories because, first of all, it makes it sound like everybody's all got together and holding hands, singing Kumbaya, and it's a great thing. I'm against it. Nobody asked me my opinion.
You don't see Pheasants Forever, Sportsmen for Fish and Wildlife, the Mule Deer Foundation, the Sheep Foundation. You don't see any of their names on this. Real sportsmen's groups. It's just like the conservationists. Who were the real conservationists? The real conservationists were the ranchers and farmers and sportsmen for years and years and years. From 1938, when the Fish and Game was formed, and until the 60s and 70s, and then the word conservation was hijacked by the environmental groups, and they have been known as the conservationists since.
What can we do? And I want you to answer this question after I have Michael Rogers' weather, but I want you to think about it. What can we do to negate what Rocky Barker put in this story? I mean, what would you say that the general public should do to let him know that he's not right in assuming that all sportsmen are for this? And I'll be right back for your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for a weather update brought to you by Lennox Home Comfort Systems, gas furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps from our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Here now, Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Sun and clouds today and tomorrow. Still on the cool side. 57 for the high today, 59 for the high tomorrow. Warming up 63 by Saturday, which means that we're getting away from the back end of this cold front and looking for a pretty nice weekend. Over that, those will be in the mid to upper 30s. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Don't know whether you got.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Brought to you again by Lennox Home Comfort Systems, gas furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps from Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Really, Jack, what would you suggest that people do?
Well, I've been a lone voice in the wilderness for a long time, and let me say that it is over the years I have learned that sportsmen's groups are their own worst enemy because they will not join together on issues that protect everybody's interest and be able to continue to do what you've been doing for years and years and years. And as an example of that, there was a meeting held in Burley, and I was invited by the Burley County Commission to talk at that meeting on the elk and the deer that were getting onto ranches and farms over in the Sublette area. I was the only person that stood up in that meeting and talked for the wildlife. There was the Fish and Game there. There was other sportsmen's groups there. But I was the only one that got up and talked for the wildlife. And what can we do? We have got to join together, and we have got to talk for these interests. I mean, the Blue Ribbon Coalition, yes, they make a lot of noise, but when it comes down to bare knuckles, are you involved? They are in some things, yes, but in a lot of things, no. And sportsmen, like I said, are their own worst enemy because they won't join together to protect their interests.
Well, wouldn't you say the same is true for people in agricultural circles, whether it's the sheep industry or whether it's the cattle industry or farming and ag in general? They have a tendency, unfortunately, to go off in segmented areas.
Completely true. I tried to get them from 1999 to today to put up money against this wolf issue and fight it in court. They never would.
Jack, if it's not the White Clouds area, it's going to be another area, and pretty soon you're going to be seeing various things joined together. Whether it's the Escalante staircase down in Utah, or whether it's the Boulder White Clouds, pretty soon we're going to be shut out. We're going to be shut out of some of the most scenic land in our states that God has ever made in this great country.
That's completely true, and if you can't see it, you're blind.
Yeah.
And but you know, it's like sportsmen. The bow hunters want to protect their little niche.
Yeah.
Well, why not protect the rights of other people that might carry a rifle or that might need a four-wheeler to get to the mountains to hunt? You know, we're all after the same thing if you are a real sportsman, but you also are a conservationist.
Why can't they take the approach and perhaps write a story, or you could write a story, or have someone from Sportsman Fish and Wildlife, or maybe a Trout Unlimited, whatever it might be, write a story as to the people that are being shut out, people that are in wheelchairs, people that can't walk a mile or 2 miles to enjoy this part of the country, the scenic part of the West, and really lay it out to the public that those people, including myself, are being subjected to still paying the taxes but not being allowed to use public lands.
Zeb, I don't have answers to some of these questions. That it amounts to, will you stand up and talk for your interests?
Yeah.
And I have found over the years, no, people won't. They'll complain about not having that anymore. They'll complain that that road was closed. They'll complain that that trail's closed. But will they stand up? Will they fight for their interests? I have found out that a lot of people won't. Well, that's why I said I have been a lone voice in the area.
You've done so much to help the state of Idaho fight the wolf issue, etc., and you've done so much of your time and out of your own money. But I would like to have a chance to sit on the same dais with Rocky Barker and just look him in the eye and say, I think you're forgetting something. This isn't a Hitleristic society where everybody's blonde, blue-eyed, 6 foot tall, and can hike 20 miles. And really arbitrated with him on the closures of these lands that were supposedly public lands.
Well, and I would like you to be there, because that's the reason I've been around so long, and when these stories come up, that's the first question that comes out of my mind. Who wrote the story?
Right.
And that's the first question I ask you this morning. And if I know who wrote the story, then I know what kind of a story it's going to be.
Well, it's a very biased and slanted story, but it's an untruthful story.
It is, and it gives an impression that all sportsmen are in favor of the Boulder White Clouds. To me, there's a direct connection back to Mike Simpson and his bill that has been in Congress for years.
Quickly, and I've only got about 2 minutes and I got to do a commercial, but there's a lot of people, Jack, that seem to be disgruntled with our congressman as he's running for re-election against Brian Smith from Idaho Falls area. And, you know, Mike and I have had our little tussles over certain things in government, especially the Michelle Bachmann editorial about him sending her a letter of condemnation because she was questioning why Muslims were being appointed to certain parts of the cabinet, and they represented the Muslim Brotherhood. I've got my own axe to grind against Mike Simpson. What are your thoughts?
Well, I feel that it's time for a change. That's my personal feeling, but that's the way I feel. And I've talked to a lot of people, and it not only deals with the Boulder White Clouds, because I have talked to Mike directly about this issue. I also talked to Senator, whatever his name was, and he told me he talked to Mike when he was still in the Senate back there, and Larry Craig. And he says, I told him directly, get rid of the Boulder white clouds, or it's going to come back and bite you one of these days. And here we are. The Boulder white clouds is surfacing again.
Yes, it is.
Why is it surfacing? It's surfacing because the environmental groups who gets our money through the government is using it to whip us. And I have talked to the grant individual for Senator Risch on this subject just a week ago and asked, why can't I get some of those grants, or why can't other people get some of those grants, and why did they have to go to the environmental groups?
Absolutely. Jack Euler, we'll wrap it up in just a minute. Don't forget, this is the last day of a great big tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the best in tires for your cars, pickups, and SUVs, all the different tires for the different driving and the different tread designs. So stop in and check it out today. Don't forget, too, the best in brake service, and I really do mean the best in brake service. They've got a lot of their custom wheels on sale. They've got the best of front end alignments and shocks and struts and batteries. You better stop in. That's where safe driving begins, right there at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Lane and Rupert, John on Poline and Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Jack, thanks for coming all the way out this morning, and we're going to follow up on this story with the Times News after we get off the air here this morning, and also let Rocky Barker know that he's not going to have a column that was unread and also not untested.
Well, I've known Rocky for years, and we've had our issues up at the State House.
We might have another one.
You're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a safe, sane Halloween. Watch out for the little kids tonight trick-or-treating. They're not going to be watching out for you, so please be careful out there. And we'll be back next Monday at 8:06 right here on KBAR 1230 AM radio, and also streaming live on the net, zebbell.com, all over the universe. The way things were are the way things ought to be. And if you get a chance, please see Gina in her costume. Outstanding. Happy Halloween, everybody.